I wouldn't be the individual I am today if not for the books, if not for the knowledge that was passed on to me through the men and women who've inspired me by the works that they've written. In J.K. Rowling's words, words are, in my not so humble opinion, an inexhaustible source of magic. Right? It can create a world for you. It gives me the strength and the will to find a way to move forward, to trudge on. And that's what I hope it will do for the kids as well. Hogwarts became that space for the kids because I think it's something that they also wanted. They have some ground rules about, okay, you know what, teasing is not allowed, bullying is not allowed. We're going to have each other's backs. We're going to look out for each other. Just having that space for them, physically creating that space. We have those candles, and then we had Hogwarts acceptance letters, and we had a sorting hat ceremony, and all of that drama itself. Physically doing those exercises, leading them through that as well, really helped create those spaces. So another idea that I've been exploring and that I've been trying to continuously bring into class is the idea that we are neither good nor bad, just people who make choices, right? I've tried to make them see me as someone who's a lot like them, who's prone to making mistakes, who's often torn between the right choice and the easy choice. We had a couple of instances of sexual assault in class. So I did inform the school authorities, and that led to the rustication of 2 kids from class. Sexual abuse happens at home, it happens on the streets. It shouldn't be happening in a classroom because I'm responsible for 34 kids and I have to create a safe space for all of them. When I broke down this thought process, I think they all had their own opinions of how I should have handled the situation, but they understood where I came from. When I came into the city, I had no idea how to teach English. I had zero training in literacy. My then PM said, go explore, find out for yourself. I realized that I was myself an untapped potential because I had years and years of training. I had a degree in English that I wasn't using. So I put all of that together, and in the second year, turns out I was a better English teacher than I was ever a science teacher. Academic excellence is one thing that I push in class. But again, coming back to the choices that they're making, that's also something that's extremely important. Jahannama itself is a very orthodox, very conservative. It's an extremely difficult community for a child to grow up in. A lot of these kids come from very troubled homes. Home is not a great place to be at, so they're out on the streets at 2 in the night, 3 in the night, 4 in the morning. With these 23-year-olds, 24-year-olds, 25-year-olds doing errands for these guys. God knows what these errands are. For me, enlightened at this point for my kids is for them to know that all of this exists, but the right choice is to choose their careers, to put their future ahead, and to keep that as their goal in mind. I've had kids do a 180-degree turn, go from being in these gangs to coming up to me and telling me that it's not worth it. And those are my enlightened kids. Without being vulnerable with the kids, you cannot form a relationship because you can't invest kids in anything unless you build something with them. Me learning from my mistakes, it sets an example for them to learn from their mistakes. And I failed so much in the past 2 years. I guess initially it gets to you, it really demotivates you, but then you take it as a challenge, right? And you rise to the occasion because you realize that the kids are watching you. And the minute you let failure get to you and demotivate you, they're going to learn the same thing from you. So I think the kids have taught me so many more valuable lessons than I will ever be able to teach them. Last week, when we finally finished our novel and I was having a chat with my kids, I realized how I've grown as a teacher, right? I've realized how I've honed my skills as a teacher. I gave myself a shot. You see that bet wall and all of those things that I have up. You fall 7 times, you get up the 8th, you limit yourself. A lot of that is for myself, because there are very low points in your fellowship when you just feel like you've lost the battle and you can't get up. I have bipolar depression. Right. And I was hospitalized twice, so clearly I'm not doing too well. I had about 4 or 5 months left in my fellowship. And if I quit then, my classroom wouldn't have a teacher. Mental health is also a very important conversation to have. But this is something that I've struggled with for a year. And if my class and I could pull something off like this, I really wouldn't doubt another fellow's ability to do something incredible in their class. Yes, they wouldn't be able to put in 18 hours of work, but nobody should be putting in 18 hours of work, if you ask me. That's just terrible work-life balance. Rather, there's no work-life balance at all. A little bit of sensitivity and a little bit of understanding can go such a long way. And that's where your friends, your co-workers, the staff members that you interact with on a regular basis come into picture, right? I wouldn't doubt anybody's abilities. Would you doubt my abilities? If I didn't tell you I was bipolar, would you have doubted my classroom's performance? So it shouldn't be an indicator. It should be destigmatized. And it should begin here, yeah. We're educators, come on. We're trying to make a change. One day every child will have an excellent education. That's not going to happen if we don't take care of our own educators, right? We need to take care of our fellows. It was a struggle to come back, get used to teaching again, get used to going back to teaching a full day. And in all of that chaos, my kids knew that I was sick. They knew that I wasn't doing well at all. And they rose to the occasion. And they started all of these self-learning circles. And they started teaching themselves the novel. They started going ahead and learning on their own. Despite all of these setbacks, my kids are doing so well for themselves. Just having you guys come over and say, hey, you know what, you guys have great outcomes. Just being in a place where we feel like we've gotten this far. It's an overwhelming feeling for all of us. My girls have won research projects in their grade 6, grade 7. They participated in research projects that were open to grades 8, 9 and 10. They have taken part in Dramebuzz. They have their own KER chronicles. They're part of student councils, city student councils. They have their own student LCs. What else? I forget all of the projects that they do. If you put all the data together, the girls hands down outperform the boys. One, because they just realize the value of the education that they're getting. These girls are so used to walking down the street with their head bowed, you know. But over the years, I've seen how they walk with their head held high. And for my girls to see that they can turn around and raise their voice, that they have a voice that's loud and clear within themselves, that is something that's really important, because everywhere they're silenced. You see a little girl like Rabia, she's about this much, right? Little child. And she goes and passionately talks to children who are working at the Monday market about how they should be in school. And when I see that, and when she comes back to class and tells me, you know what, Didi, if Malala Yousafzai can do it, why can't I? Why can't I be the Malala Yousafzai of India? that is a victory in itself. And I often get complaints from parents saying, oh, these girls talk too much, they rebel too much. The HM complains to us saying that the girls are getting too talkative, they talk back and all of that. But I wear it as a pride of honor, as a badge of honor, because, hey, my girls and boys, they're fighting for something that they believe in. I mean, each one of those kids is so special to me, and they've made me the person I am today. I've gotten through so much. I've gotten my act together. I've gotten my mental illness together. I've gotten through so much because of them, and they're my strongest, greatest, most amazing sources of inspiration.